What do you do when family misunderstands you as a believer? Hi, my name is Mary. What do you do when your family members, when your loved ones in the context of family don't understand what you're doing as a believer? They don't understand the decisions you're making. They don't understand how you're living your life. They're not in agreement with the paths that you're taking. And yet, as far as you're concerned, you're following after God's path and pattern for your life. What do you do then? I've always found it interesting, the navigation that Jesus had to do with his relationship with his family on earth, because he wasn't just God, he was also man. And being man, he did have family members on the face of the earth. One of the first interactions we see with him and his parents when he's a bit older is when he disappears and no one knows where he is, only for him to be found in the temple. When he's asked, "What are you doing here?" and he's wondering, "Why are you people so up in arms? I'm in my father's house, what's a big deal?" And there's a reality that continues throughout his life, where there are times when, especially after he entered active ministry, the kind of things he was doing, the kind of manifestations, the kind of miracles, the signs and wonders, the things he was teaching, they were so beyond what anyone was used to in that day, that even his own family had trouble understanding him sometimes. And that's a pattern that sometimes carries over into our lives as believers, especially when our family members are either not in the faith as we are, or even if they are Christians, if they've not sought the Lord as we have concerning our lives, if perhaps they've made an assumption or two about how they think our lives should go, how they expect our lives to go, and when they see us doing different, they get concerned. Remember that most times what we view as misunderstanding from family is really just them being concerned about us and not really knowing perhaps how to express that concern in a way where it carries over well. And so it may come in the form of a question that's asked, or a demand that's made, or an expectation that's expressed. But if you look beyond the way the message is being packaged, you will realize that underneath all of that is just a lot of love and care and concern for you as a person. And so what do you do in such instances? Number one, love them well. Make a decision ahead of time that even if family misunderstands you, more often than not, they're not doing it out of malice. It's not an intentional, conscious choice on their part not to understand you. They're not deliberately trying to ruin your life. They're probably trying to direct you well, especially when you're dealing with older family members, and they're doing what they know best. They're doing it how they know best. But sometimes even our best as human beings is limited. Now, when that happens, we have to be willing to take the higher road and to set aside how a message may have been passed on to us, how an action may have been carried out for us, to us, and really just see the heart behind it, where this person meant well, this family member actually meant well. Choose to love them well ahead of time. Choose to forgive them for the things they don't know better in. Choose to forgive them where they may not have heard from God, and so they are acting based on the information, the limited knowledge and revelation they have, and they're doing the best they can with what they have accessible to them. Lastly, ask God to speak to them, especially if they are in the faith. And even if they are not, by the way, because God has a history. He has a history of speaking to pretty much just about anyone. And using pretty much any vessel at his disposal. And so if you're having a hard time and you know that you know, and it's confirmed, you know that you're on the right path insofar as your life is concerned, the last thing that you want to allow into your life is dishonor, it's disrespect, it's offense, unforgiveness, bitterness. Because when you open your heart up to those things and you give the enemy a foothold, completely derail you even from being on the right path that you're on. And so make a decision today that regardless of how your family is, regardless of the flaws and the mistakes, regardless of the pitfalls in the relationships that you have with them, yes, I know it's easier said than done, but regardless of these things, make a decision to fill your love account for your family to the brim ahead of time, so that at any given moment, and especially when circumstances are what they are, you're able to make a withdrawal from that account and extend love even when you're not feeling so loved, where you're able to speak with wisdom and even receive counsel and know how to listen and still express honor even when you may not feel as honored as you would desire to be, where you don't rubbish family, especially if it's your parents, just because they're not acting or supporting you in the manner that you expected. God gave you these people for a reason. He made you part of that family for a reason. And so we have to acknowledge that they are with us. They are in our lives with good reason. And we need to trust God to help us navigate those relationships with as much honor as we can, because that in itself becomes a testament to just how much we've been with the Lord and how truly closely we are walking with Him. Thanks for joining me today. I will see you in the next episode.